Hey guys, this is Comic Ken, and I am currently working on inking Chapter 3 of my latest webcomic, Saintly, and it is going pretty good, I'd say. The main issue right now is that I drew the entire chapter out, all 20 pages, in a pretty loose pencil style that would clearly indicate what's happening, at least to me and to other people, but it wasn't clear enough to ink off of. Meaning, like, if I just started inking off of what I had before, and let me give you let's say I started inking off of this page, it would turn into a mess really fast because there's not enough clear statements of lines that I would actually use, and I would have to restate them. I would have to draw them out fully before I put my ink lines over them. And that's what I did with this panel right here, where the faces were clear enough, but the pencil lines were not 100%. I had to draw the interior, reference that. I had to make sure things were at least in proportion with each other, and make sure the lines were all right, at the very least convincing enough to not take the reader out of the story. So the lines on the characters look good enough to where I'm like, okay, I can ink on top of it. And I really felt like this particular face was stronger than what I usually do, in that I'm starting to think of the lines as indicating real objects. So I'm starting to think of the lines of the eyes as indicating real eyes. I'm starting to think of the lighting underneath the lip to indicate a real lip there. I'm starting to think about line weight and variation, like in the hair and the eyebrows. And there's just enough line variation on this face to make it feel more like a real face. It's like, rather than just drawing lines to make a drawing, I'm using the lines to define a real person. And that's like a slight shift in my mentality that's just been occurring over the course of creating this comic, where I'm starting to solidify more in like my artistic, what's the word, philosophies and values. And one thing that I've really noticed over time is that when I was working on, let's say, chapter 1, I had to work in like bits and spurts. Nothing was ever something I could do in a continuous time frame. It was just draw one drawing and then move on to the next, and there was hardly any like continuity in terms of in my mind of drawing from one thing to the next, meaning like there was always an interruption in the process of doing it. Let's say I would draw this panel one day, and then for the next 2 to 3 days I would be busy with a day job, to the point where I couldn't do any other thing besides this panel. And then the next day I would be able to work on this panel, and then the next day I would be busy with work again. And from day to day there would just be no continuity in the actual drawing process. So I couldn't really forge a reasonable level of ability elevation, meaning like I couldn't like grow consistently because I was always working in spots, in bits and pieces. So one day it would be pencils, and then maybe a month later I would finally be able to ink it, and then maybe 2 months later to maybe 3 to 6 months later, I'd finally be able to color it. And even then I wouldn't be able to do it all in one shot. And now with what I did with chapter 2 and what I'm doing with chapter 3, I have the time and ability to work on the pages and make them one after the other and just continue the process without stopping, really. So this is page 3, this is page 2, and both of those I'm going to have to define the figures more. So I got them in the general place and in the general position and pose that I want them to be in, but now I'm going to have to correct the drawing, make sure things are in the right place, define the lines a bit more, define the forms and figures some more, define the faces and the structures that they're residing in, so that when I do start inking it, it'll be a more flowing process and I could just go from panel to panel, face to face, character to character, and just continuously flow through there. So that is the current place I am on this 3rd chapter. I'm getting better at drawing in general. Like I've just been able to solidify a lot of things that I've learned in the past, and things that I've learned in the past, like those things are starting to come back to me now. Like things that I thought I forgot are starting to come back to me in terms of how to draw, when to draw it, and all that kind of stuff. So when I thought I needed like new tutorials to learn from, all I really needed was a chance to use everything that I've already learned and exercise that on a more consistent basis. So that is basically where I'm at with this. If you want to check out the 1st chapter of my latest webcomic, you can check it in the description. It is called Saintly. It is a demon chase horror action comedy about 2 best friends who have to outrun the demon loan sharks that they borrowed from. Basically, it's like Scooby-Doo meets K-pop demon hunters without the K-pop. And the story backs the main character into a corner where she has to decide between the hard path to success or lose her soul to the lure of easy money. And we get to see the ramifications of her choice, and if she can hide this deal with the devil from her friend, or if it will tear them apart. And I hope you read my comic in the description and check out the story. It should appear in your email inbox or your spam folder if you don't see it. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.